For those of you who came in after the launch, I would just like to update you on this brilliant initiative. The Secretary General has just launched the AAU Early Career Research Center of Excellence, and in his words, this has as objective to nurture the next generation of African scholars and researchers through the provision of a robust support ecosystem building on existing knowledge and expertise already in the continent. So we are looking at the young generation of our researchers who will be the problem solvers, the thinkers, and the innovators of tomorrow. Vice chancellors just identify them, engage them, and then inform AAU, collaborate with the AAU so that together these early career researchers will be nurtured. Thank you so much, Professor Olusola Bandele Oyewole. You keep taking the AAU to the highest of heights. And thank you, University of Nottingham. Thank you so much. So we're going to move to our next presenter, a report from the China Association of Higher Education. Permit me to move the order around a little bit. So we're inviting Professor Yan Chunhua, Vice President of the China Association of Higher Education, former President of Langzhou University, academician of Chinese Academy of Science. Please, a round of applause as Professor Yan Chunhua moves to the stage.
Thank you. Well, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's a pity because the representative photos is not mine. I think in your mind, this guy is more smart and bright than me. So I'm Chunhua Yan from Peking University, now recently served as the Vice President for China Association of Higher Education. As the strategic partner of AAU, I would like to give you the brief introduction and about the KAHI as well as what we did in the past and also what we want to do in the future. And so the first part is about the brief introduction about the KAHI, China Association of Higher Education. And about the KAHI, and founded in 1983, and we have 73 branches and also related with more than 1,700 memberships from the institutions, covered the entire China as well as Hong Kong and Macau. And also this association, we have the broader relationships with the worldwide association, especially on higher education. So the activities we can conclude or give some summarized in here: theoretical research, academic exchange, professional training, exhibition, and international cooperation, advisory services, and publication, editing, industrial standards, and monitoring evaluations. And more than that, and we play the kernel, like the kernel rules, link the central government and the institutions in China. And here, the flagship initiatives is around the three parts. The first one is academic excellence. And we have two conferences series. One is the World University President Forum, and the second one is International Forum on Higher Education. And also we have open collaborations and also solved for the common communications. And we published two peer-reviewed journals, one in China and China Higher Education Research. And another one is in English version. It's a perspective of higher education. And also we have two report systems working as the think tank, the cutting edge higher education, and also the doctoral dissertation report for higher education studies. And also the impact-driven growth, we have two centers. The first one is Research Center for Building a Strong Higher Education Nation. And the second one is China Higher Education Training Center. So we train all of the faculties for the university, for the college, as well as for the professional and technical university and the colleges. So for the international engagements, and we established the frameworks. First one is one we can conclude as the one high-level international ThinkPad alliance, and two flagship academic diplomacy platform, and three major exchange mechanisms. And here is more detailed. For the international organizations, we have the close collaboration with the UNESCO, the World Bank, and OECD. And also the Global University Associations Forum, we almost connected and have the common forums with entire world for the higher education associations. And also we have three flagship exchange mechanisms. The first one is, like today we talk about, is China-Afrik Consortium of Universities Exchange Mechanisms. And the second one, and also have the relationships with ours today, and it's the China-Arab Consortiums of University Exchange Mechanisms. And the third one is between the China and the Pakistan Economic Corridor Consortiums of Universities Exchange Mechanisms. So that's, I can conclude or give you the remarks. The CAHE covered the most Chinese university and colleges, and connected or have the relationships or covered more than 3,000 universities entire China, from mainland to Macau to Hong Kong, as well as others. And the second thing is we have the China-Afrik Consortium of University Exchange Mechanisms. During this conference, AAU General Conference, we talk about the mechanism and the exchange and the communication between Chinese university as well as the African universities. And here we say that more than 300 member universities from China, both China and Africa, involved in this program. And we have 10 priority clusters covered almost all of common interested topics. For example, during AAU General Conference this time, we talk about digital education, connectivity, and infrastructure in a nation, and social governance, and health and well-being, and trade and investment, and communication, and the national image, agricultural development, even you say that AI for agricultural development or agricultural science and technology. It's the same things. And mining and natural resources, because Africa is rich for the mining and natural resources. And the last one is the language and cultural exchange. And the sustainable environment, because sustainable is the common topics for human beings recent years. And the achievements we got is inter-university cooperation and nearly more than 30 MOUs and agreements signed during the past 2 years. And 5 joint laboratories have been set up and supporting UNESCO's Campus of Africa initiatives, and also the digital education jointly launched a Coder on AI teaching platform and established the Digital Education Cooperation Center and STEM teacher training centers. You know, that's in China, under the leadership of the Ministry of Education and organized by A.G.E.N.D.A, by China Association of Higher Education. And we organized and we qualified, we evaluated the several universities and several basements as the teach training centers. And also for the young generation, we say the talent development, poverty reduction projects in Tanzania, and we say the small technology, big harvest, and little beans, big nutritions. We use the small and little beans to spark the economics, to spark initiated from the agricultural issues. And for the research collaborations, we also did joint field stations and research. And the second thing is published Africa Field Stations collection and piloted industry membership systems. So during AAU 16th General Conference, and my colleagues from China, they also bring some report and give you some dialogue results to the conference. And another thing is the dialogue and conference, because even the China have a long history for collaboration with Africa world. However, for the university, especially for the students, for the young generation, they know Africa. They know Africa is great and is the friend of Chinese. However, what you are requirement and you are demands and what we can do based on the common interested topics. So we need the dialogue, we need the communication, and we need the conference, not only joined or participant by the vice chancellor, by the professor, and also by the students, especially for the young generation. So here have several conference, institutionalized annual conference, released the cooperation casebook and a digital report, and launch digital cooperation platforms, and it is a big event, not only for Chinese, but also for African. And the 3 proposals for future collaboration, and I think, and on behalf of A.G.E.N.D.A, we suggest. The first one is inclusion. And when AAU conference, during the AAU conference, most of us, we talk about inclusion, because we open science based on the internet as well as the AI techniques. So here is a warmly invited additional African universities to join the mechanism. It's a China-African consortium. And the second thing is engagement, let's pull the collective window of all member universities. And branding is let's create flagship China Africa Education Corporation brands. So we need all we required, and we should do broader participation and a deeper engagement and stronger brands. So the last slide is from our heart and together for a bright China Africa education futures. And here I present my email address, YAN, my surname, at pkupekinuniversity.edu.ca. Thank you for your attention. I have say goodbye because I have to catch my flight. You know, that's a long trip between the Morocco and Beijing. It's around 11 hours, one day, one flight. So I'm sorry, and see you next time in Beijing, in Hangzhou, or in Africa world. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Please, let's clap for Professor Chongwa. And it's clear to us that we have various domains for the China Association of Higher Education and AAU membership universities collaboration. I will take a few questions on the Early Career Research Center of Excellence. Prof. Oyewole is here to address any questions that you may, or any further information that you may want. So we'll take a few questions, if anybody has any. Our next set of presenters on the reports from AAU regional offices. We have three presenters. Professor Juliet Thondalana, AAU Europe Regional Office. Please come up. We have AAU Southern Africa Regional Office, the presenter, Mrs. Semo Kilizo Gono. Please come up. And we have the third presenter from the AAU Northern Africa Regional Office, Dr. Mohamed Issa. Please come up. The Association of African Universities has established regional offices to strengthen its impact and better serve its members across Africa and beyond. The Eastern Africa Regional Office is hosted by the University of Khartoum in Sudan. The Northern Africa Regional Office is hosted by Al-Azhar University in Cairo, Egypt. The Europe Regional Office is hosted by the University of Nottingham in the UK. The Southern African Regional Office is hosted by the Women's University in Africa, located in Harare, Zimbabwe. And the Latin America Regional Office is hosted by Universidad Federal do Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. And so today we are going to have an update from three of these offices on how they have been faring. Thank you for coming. So I'm going to ask the presenter from the AAU Europe Regional Office, Professor Juliet, to please present your report.
Thank you very much, Madam. The President, the Secretary General, the President, the Secretary General, Vice Chancellors, and distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, we, the AAU Europe Regional Office, are pleased to present our report for the period 2023 to 2025. Next slide, please. Next slide, please. Oh, do I have control? Okay. In 2023-26 January, the AAU and the University of Nottingham signed a memorandum of understanding to establish and run the AAU Europe Regional Office to be hosted at the University of Nottingham. As an arm of the AAU, our role is simple. We seek to promote the quality of higher education in Africa through strategic collaborations across Africa and Europe that can enhance Africa's capacity to contribute to knowledge creation, production, and distribution, not only in Africa, but beyond. The Europe Regional Office works closely with the University of Nottingham's UNESCO Chair in International Education and Development in their shared vision to contribute significantly to higher education in Africa. We adopt a decolonial approach to all our activities, thereby aligning with the AAU's Africa Charter for Transformative Collaborations.
We have 5 key objectives in the ERO. The first of those is partnerships. Our goal is to enhance global academic impact by promoting partnerships and collaborative activities in research, knowledge exchange, teaching, and student experience. Our steering group meets regularly, and we are currently engaged in work to expand the membership of our steering group across the continent. Our second key objective is around funding, and our goal is to provide opportunities for colleagues to work collaboratively through the pursuit of mutually beneficial grants for African European research and build a database of successful grant applications which can be shared and used to strengthen our overall financial position. Our third goal is knowledge exchange, to develop and maintain a database of experts at UON and across the continent to facilitate knowledge exchange and capacity strengthening so that research activity across both continents can be enhanced by a greater understanding of both contexts. Our objective is to actively develop staff exchanges across the 2 continents to develop a rich collaborative ecosystem. Fourthly, our goal is around capacity strengthening, to empower AAU members with a strategic emphasis on research, innovation, teaching, and leadership, bridging knowledge with European partners. Our goal is to strengthen doctoral programs through joint mentorship, advance global competencies of graduates and faculty with internationalization, and deepen expertise in STEM, agriculture, and environmental sciences to support our joint work to meet the SDGs. Finally, advocacy. To support comprehensive research, education, and policy initiatives across Africa by driving strategic partnerships between European corporations, non-profits, and African higher education institutions, and align with development stakeholders to address educational needs and advocate for fair funding models with financiers and policymakers.
The Europe Office is committed to true partnership approaches, bringing together distinct areas of expertise to synthesize our impact that is greater than the sum of its parts. We're proud to host the UNESCO Chair in International Education and Development in the person of Professor Thonlana, and work in this area leads policy development, training frameworks, quality assurance, and sustainable internationalization strategies. Proud to work with UNESCO and their flagship Campus Africa project, which aims to strengthen research and innovation capacities, support doctoral studies, boost higher technical education, harmonize quality assurance, and leverage the use of data and emerging technologies such as AI. Speaking of that, in collaboration with the University of Exeter in the UK and Ludwig Maximilians Universität München, we champion the Ethical Data Initiative, leading the conversations around the ethical and responsible use of AI and other digital tools in teaching and research, convening a series of webinars and a strongly subscribed mailing list tracking developments in this fast-moving sector. In keeping with our commitment to connecting African and European institutions, recent work with the Berlin University Alliance and the coalition of 4 Berlin-based institutions focuses on establishing research priorities, facilitating access to collaborative funding across the European and German research and capacity building environment. Very much proud to work with another impactful organisation in the Association of Commonwealth Universities, particularly in the area of equitable research partnerships. We recently co-convened a workshop for members of the academic community exploring the use of the ACU's Equitable Research Toolkit, a collection of practical tools, guiding topics including research design, joint funding applications, freely accessible on the ACU website, and very recommended for you to use in your interactions with partners outside and within Africa. And finally, forging connections with Chinese institutions, which themselves have robust Africa-focused programs. University of Nottingham has long been a global institution. Our campus in Ningbo, China was the first Sino-foreign university in China when it was opened 21 years ago, while our Malaysia campus was the first ever branch campus of a British university established outside of the UK with our 25th anniversary this year. The challenge for the AAU Europe office is to continue developing these international links and leading equitable and anti-colonial approaches to collaboration with AAU member organisations across Africa and Europe in the coming years.
Thank you very much, Jim. So we've set out the objectives, we've looked at the strategic partnerships, but the question that might be in the room is what are the actual deliverables? So I get to do the fun bit and where you can see action has actually materialized. So our projects have been brought from ideas to search for funding to deliverables, and I'm proudly going to present 7 of those projects that are at different stages at the moment. The first one is the Writing for Sustainable Development, developing, mentoring, and strengthening African grant and research writing for publication. The period for that project was from 2023 to 2025, and we delivered 4 iterations, 3 in person that took place in Zimbabwe, and 2 were in Ghana, and 1 was delivered virtually. The second example of our projects is the African Female Early Career Researchers Experience in Academia. Looking specifically at a gender perspective, and it spans from 2024, it's ongoing and will finish next year. We are currently engaged with over 100 participants within that project. The third looks at addressing female STEM lecturers underrepresentation in leadership, specifically in the technical universities in Ghana, and that is with collaboration with the AAU, Ho Technical University in Ghana, and the British Council. And at the moment, that is engaging with around 40 participants. Our next 4 projects are on this page, the first of which is the African University Staff Perception and Usage of AI, a study on the need for governance, and that is in collaboration with the AAU and the University of Nottingham, and it's funded by Responsible AI in the UK. We have a couple of projects that are currently seeking funding, but we thought it would be important to mention this one specifically just for the actual problems that it is trying to solve across the continent, which is addressing the gender imbalance in certain areas within higher education and looking at emboldening women in leadership in higher education. Our sixth example is Executive Leadership Training Program, AAU Experts, Europe Experts, and that specifically is at the moment going through a needs assessment. Our final project example for what we are delivering from the European Regional Office is supporting projects strengthening African universities' capacity for climate adaptation research through the Climate Adaptation and Resilience. And that is with the ACU, the AAU, and Liverpool University, and it's funded by Claire, and it's an ongoing project. Thank you very much, and I'll hand you over to Prof. Juliet.
Going further, we also do some capacity strengthening activities, and these have been listed. And then we go on to webinars. We are running some really vibrant webinars which are led from the continent of Africa, and scholars, experts in the field of data ethics and AI are leading these webinars. And then lastly, we are running webinars around internationalization of higher education, and so far we've run 2 sessions, and they are again led from the continent. Thank you very much.
I've just come to appreciate the team. We've just started this, we set up just a year ago, and can see the great work you've done within 1 year. Thank you very much.
Please, can we clap for them again, louder? Thank you so much, the Aero office. I will now listen from Mrs. Gono on the SARO office in Zimbabwe.
Good morning, everyone. I'm waiting for my slide. Honorable AAU board members, Secretary General, Vice Chancellors here present, all protocol observed. I'm going to be presenting the report on the Association of African Universities, Southern Africa Regional Office, which is being hosted by the Women's University in Africa, Harare, Zimbabwe. The Women's University in Africa is the host for the AAU Southern Africa Regional Office. The partnership is through an MOU signed on the 23rd of September, 2023. The host institution is a private institution co-founded by Professor Hope Cynthia Sadza, a former Zimbabwe Public Service Commissioner, and her colleague, Dr. Faye King Chung, a Zimbabwe former Minister of Education. The university was established in 2002 with a mandate to address gender disparities and foster equity in university education. It was granted a charter by the Parliament of Zimbabwe, Statutory Instrument 130 of 2004. WUA seeks to enhance women's capacity through the provision of higher education, which enables to fulfill political, economic, social, and leadership roles. The university enrolls 85% women and 15% men. As AAU amplifies its voice on higher education across the continent, it has a partner in WUA who focus on gender mainstreaming, equality, and inclusion. So how did we put up a governance structure for the regional office in the Southern Africa? The enabling instruments of the regional office affairs are the MOU between the host institution and AAU. There are clear deliverables in that MOU. It is also the AAU regional office's terms of reference. AAU has terms of reference for regional offices. So there are very clear deliverables for each regional office. It is also the AAU constitution. What is AAU trying to achieve? And what are the parameters of those activities? The host institution, UWA, put governance structures for transparency and inclusion of all countries in the region. We host 16 countries in the Southern Africa region. Regional countries were engaged to second nominees for representation of their countries so as to bring higher education issues on the table. In Harare, I wouldn't know what is happening in Lesotho, Namibia, South Africa, Botswana, Malawi, so we have a representative for each country. The instruments were developed to facilitate transparency in nominations and final appointment by the Secretary General. So currently the Southern Africa Regional Board is chaired by Dr. Harold Naumab, the Vice Chancellor for the Namibia University of Science and Technology, and he is also representing Namibia. So if there are any issues, whether there are policy issues affecting higher education in Namibia, he brings them to Southern Africa Regional Office for deliberations and also inclusion into the board agenda for the region. We also have Professor Sunungrai Dominica Chingarande, who is the head of Secretariat and the host Vice Chancellor at the Women's University in Africa, a renowned gender expert. Professor Isaac Olusola Fajana, the Vice Chancellor for National University of Lesotho, is also a board member representing Lesotho. Professor Emmanuel Kaunda, Vice Chancellor of Lilongwe University of Agriculture and Natural Sciences for Malawi, representing Malawi. And we also have Professor Romila Mohi, a Commissioner for Higher Education in Mauritius, representing Mauritius. We have Professor Stephen Simkanga, the Executive Director for Sarua, which represents Southern Africa Regional Universities Association, a regional organization for universities in the Southern Africa. He is also a board member. By being the executive director of Sarua, which is based in South Africa, he also brings issues affecting higher education in South Africa. We have Ms. Days Molefi, the Vice Chancellor of ABM University College in Botswana. She also represents Botswana. We have Dr. Ignatius Nzero, the Dean, Faculty of Law, Zimbabwe Open University, representing Zimbabwe. And I am Semukeli Sogono, the coordinator for the Southern Africa Regional Office, the administrative arm for the regional office. The achievements so far: we managed to establish the regional governing board. So we are transparent. We are bringing all issues affecting the region on the table. We don't run issues affecting women's university in Africa. We run issues affecting 16 Southern African countries. We have held quarterly meetings where the AAU Secretariat are ex-officio members. So there is continuous engagement with our boss in Ghana. We have also developed annual work plans in liaison with the AAU Secretariat. The host institution allocated office space and dedicated staff to coordinate regional activities. The regional board brought in government, universities, higher education regulators, diplomatic groups, among others, for the official launch of the Southern Africa Regional Office on the 27th of September 2024. And I'm sure the Secretary General was happy on that day. The launch was graced by the Zimbabwe Minister of Higher Education, Innovation, Science and Technology Development in Zimbabwe, Professor Amon Murwira, assisted by Professor Olusola Oyewole, our Secretary General, and Dr. Unesu Usheokunze Obatolu, the UWA Board of Trustees chairperson. The event attracted a lot of media attention and became a platform for AAU visibility, because that's one of the critical areas we are looking at. Visibility and awareness of the Association of African Universities, particularly its agenda in being the voice of higher education. The region is on an aggressive AAU membership recruitment drive, and this year has brought in 2 universities, Queensland University in Haiti and KCMC University in Tanzania. We also reach out to members in areas to pay their subscriptions. The survival of AAU is dependent on the subscriptions. Vice Chancellors here present, we are also reminding you as Southern Africa Regional Office that this is our body. Let's ensure it's well funded. SARO has signed an MOU with Sarua to strengthen its activities as the 2 institutions serve the same higher education institution in the SADC. So we thought if we then sign an MOU, we don't step on each other's toes, but we complement each other. SARO has held 2 conferences in Harare for capacity building in internationalization and also strategic financial planning for all the stakeholders in the higher education sector. It attracted a lot of delegates, 65 in June, from across the continent. SARO is also working with WOHEN, the Women in Higher Education Network. The women who attended the session yesterday now understand what WOHEN is all about, to bring on board the higher education female scholars. AAU Day commemorations have also been held through webinars during the week. AAU Day is 12th November each year, so we normally have activities throughout the week. It's also a platform for visibility and awareness of AAU activities. SARO also coordinates grant proposals, writing in terms of bringing together scholars and identification of those proposals. At times, as professors and vice chancellors, we are too busy to know which grant has come out. So the secretariat at SARO does that job and alerts the region that there are proposals for response, and we also identify relevant scholars to respond. One proposal currently being developed is on empowering women in leadership in higher education and research in Africa project in collaboration with the AAU Europe office. We have brought in scholars who are already busy developing the proposal. It's a very big proposal which is going to run over 10 years. AAU partners like Taylor and Francis Group are assisted to identify facilitators when they host seminars or conferences in the region. Of course, in any activity which is good, there are always going to be challenges, but it is how then you handle those challenges. We have issues of budgetary constraints, incentives for our board members, and also the coordination between the regional offices and our head office in Ghana. But these are not bigger than the objective of the association. I thank you.
I'm sure that the board members of AU will be glad that we set up that region. I think this is just about 2 years ago. And you can see all the countries in Southern Africa have representation in the regional office of AU in Southern Africa. We are very grateful, and we have more things to do together in the years ahead. Thank you very much.
We now call on Dr. Mohamed Issa to give the report for the NARO office in Cairo. How are you?
So, distinguished Vice Chancellor, Professor, delegates, and esteemed higher education stakeholders, your presence here as a leaders, innovators, and custodians for higher education is truly inspiring. Your dedication fuels our collective mission to transform higher education across Africa. It is both an honor and a profound responsibility to stand before you today to present the brief yet comprehensive report of the North Africa Regional Office under the auspices of the Association of the African Universities, AAU. I would like to begin by sincerely thanking the AAU Secretariat for their kind invitation to share our progress, and UM6B for graciously hosting and expertly organizing this important regional conference. This report highlights our current accomplishment, ongoing initiative, and the strategic vision that will propel African higher education to new heights. NARU is more than an office. It's a beating heart and a vital link for academic collaboration, capacity building, and knowledge sharing across Africa, North Africa, Sub-Saharan Africa, and the Middle East. Hosted by Al-Azhar University in Egypt, our regional office had emerged a pivotal platform facilitating energy between universities, government, private sector, and civil society. Our objectives are clear, ambitious, and aligned with the Greater Africa vision for education, science, and innovation. It's to maximize the benefits of AAU membership for our institution, to foster vigorous sub-regional activities aligned with AAU Secretariat priorities, to connect members, universities, and development partners who amplify their impact, to promote across-continental knowledge exchange, and to collaborate actively with governments and civil society, and to nurture centers of excellence that can compete globally. Our broad spectrum of activities demonstrates our commitment for capacity building workshops to leadership and entrepreneurship training, from supporting digital transformation to organizing international conferences, and critically from developing a comprehensive database for higher education institutions in the region, North Africa, to coordinate student, academic, cultural, and sports activities that build unity and purpose. This photo captured the heart of NARU dedicated, passionate team driving our commitment, and their collaboration and commitment have been essential to every success we celebrating today. Great thanks for this exceptional team for their hard work and unwavering dedication. So starting in 2019, NARU was inaugurated, and by the attendance of more than 1,500 people in that day. And after that, we started to move for the Maiden African Universities Olympic, which was taking place after a couple of days after the inauguration. These Olympics is come to set the strategy. We need to work from the bottom up. We need to talk to each other, not government to government or institution to institution. We need to talk to each African student, to each African teacher in the university. And these Olympics, we have 22 countries presenting 54 universities and more than 400 student universities. They're competing for 5 Olympics games, and this is the first Olympics for the universities. After that, we did the African Arab Networking Forum, hosting AAU Governing Board meeting, and we have the honor to host the Conference of Rector, Vice Chancellor, and Presidents, which is called VIB 2019. We did a lot of workshops, some workshops and academic skills, leadership and entrepreneurship, and participation in the educational forum and the exhibition. After that, we complete our mission to strengthen partnerships through visits and virtual outreach. COVID is here. The recent unprecedented challenge to COVID pandemic tested the resilience of our institution. NARU responded swiftly and creatively launched an online platforms, conducting multiple remote teaching workshops and hosting virtual conferences, ensuring no student or academic staff was left behind this digital leap forward. Notably, NARO launched the African Hub of Experts to globalize specialist collaboration aimed at addressing regional barriers such as environmental sustainability, open science, and public health. We are humbled to have supported the successful progression of the African Space Agency Initiative Landmark and organized some youth innovation forum and conferences. And engage major regional and international conferences. We participated and combined AAU delegates for the African Space Agency Agreement and organized visit to Reach and Technology Institution and actively involved in the Africa Health X-Con 2023 and continued dissemination and digital outreach through social media and online platforms. We participated in ICL of Africa 24, organized visits to Reach and Technology Institution, actively involvement in Africa Health X-Con 24, and co-organized the AAU GB meeting for the AAU continued dissemination and digital outreach through social media and online platforms. So to summarize, since we started, we have 28 international conference and forum, 12 students, academic, culture, and sports activity, 36 communication support and visit collaboration for membership and members university. We have 19 COVID-19 responses actions and 15 annual UN International Day celebration. This is our partners, and what's our future plan? Here we come. So number one, coordination and communication, organizing regional coordination meeting to connect, update, and engage AAU members, universities in North Africa on AAU policies, strategies, agendas, and opportunities. Number two, program implementation, host some workshop focused on digital transformation or research innovation in higher education, supporting capacity building and in AAU's strategic focal areas. On-site visit and meeting with non-member institutions, invite them to be members. Regional collaboration partnership, trying to initiate a joint research or staff student exchange program between North Africa universities, fostering cross-institutional collaboration and regional integration. Resource mobilization, we will work with the AAU headquarters and regional offices to coordinate the development and submission of one multi-institutional project proposal to secure external funding or major grant for regional priority projects. Monitoring, reporting, and governance, prepare and submit activity reports to the AAU Secretariat documenting progress, achievement, and the challenge for the transparency and the strategic alignment. Outreach, advocacy, and public engagement, organize regional public webinars to promote and highlight the academic mobility opportunity within the region, and diaspora alumni engagement, collaborate with the AAU in execution of targeted event and initiative. And here, this is our distinguished leaders. The weight of Africa's future rests greatly on the strengths of our higher education. By joining hand through NARO, we enhance our ability to innovate, educate, and empower. Our partnership will drive sustainable development that reverberates beyond the campus, walls into communities and economic across the continent. In closing, I extend heartfelt invitation to each of you to engage boldly with NARO, to partner in creating a full realization of Africa's academic potential. Together, we can ensure that African universities are not only centers of knowledge, but also engines of progress and the pillars of global influence. Thank you.
Permit me to do two things this afternoon. Firstly, to express an apology. The NARO office happened to be our first regional office. Unfortunately, when we started the NARO office, AAU has not got definite guidelines for regional offices. Despite that, they were able to forge on and do so many things without guidelines. So we express our apology for that. And to also note that the first coordinator, Professor Amani, was with the regional office for 4 or 5 years. Yeah. On behalf of AAU, we are expressing our appreciation to her for the services that she has rendered to AAU. Professor Mohammed came in just less than a year ago, and we are 2 months ago, and we want to tell you that we will work with you, and we look forward to discussing on what we can do. I'm sure that the forum that we've created, you can see what is happening in other regions, and you'll be able to learn from them. So we thank the Al-Azhar University in Egypt, Cairo, for their support for AAU. We are proud of you. Thank you very much. Thank you.
We're now going to listen to our last presenter for this session. He's going to be giving us the report from the All African Students Union on the Rethinking Higher Education Pathways for Innovation and Sustainability. I will now invite Mr. Emmanuel Kofi Abotsi, who is a policy advisor, youth governance and leadership, All African Students Union. Please come up to the stage.
Thank you very kindly, Secretary General. I'll try and keep this brief. I'm sure the highlight for today is the excursion and the side events. The Secretary General, Vice Chancellors, Deans, distinguished delegates, university leaders, students, and partners. On behalf of the All African Students Union, I'm honored to present our official submission to the 16th Quadrennial General Conference of the African Students of the Association of African Universities, titled Rethinking Higher Education, Pathways for Innovation and Sustainability. This report is our student-led contribution to the sub-theme Climate Change, Green Energy, and the Blue Economy. It represents the voices, experiences, and ideas of thousands of students across the continent who participated in consultations, workshops, dialogues, both online and in person. Through engagements held in Ghana, Kenya, and in collaboration with international partners, including the Global Student Forum, Students Organizing for Sustainability International, United Nations Environmental Programme, and Oxfam, we asked a simple but urgent question. How can African universities become drivers of the green transition and equip students with the skills and agency needed to build a sustainable future? Secretary General, our report makes 3 core arguments, and I'll outline them seriatim. 1, Africa's higher education system is not yet preparing students adequately for a net zero world. Green skills are missing in most curricula, and sustainability remains siloed and underfunded. 2, student agency must be at the heart of higher education reform. This means that students are not passive recipients of knowledge. They are active change makers, innovators, and policy influencers. 3, universities must evolve into sustainability institutions. This means establishing green offices, mainstreaming climate and ecological literacy, supporting student-led innovation, and embracing interdisciplinary learning. In this report, we offer bold but practical recommendations drawn directly from student voices on how universities can close the green skills gap, align with SDG 4.7 and Agenda 2063, and become champions of climate justice and ecological resilience. Secretary General, with this synopsis, I now respectfully present this report to you and to the leadership of the Association of African Students for your consideration and action. We invite all of you to walk this journey with us, to make Africa's higher education not just fit for the future, but a force that actively shapes it. Thank you. I try to keep it short.
Thank you very much. You may be wondering that we are having the students on our platform. AAU is involving students in our projects. There are projects we are doing together, projects like the African Credit Transfer Scheme, we are involving the students. In the Aqua 3 project with Obrel, the students are highly involved in that. And just to also inform you that we are just starting a new project with the European Union Commission. We call it Study and Research in Africa. The students are highly involved with AU in promoting that. We are proud of our collaboration with the African Students Group. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Dear participants, we've come to the end of the session. You heard all the reports from the regional offices. I don't know if there's anybody who has any question or any contribution to make before. Okay. Prof.
The chair, SG, distinguished delegates, Issa Kuluide is my name. I'm from Nigeria. I used to be the president of AAU. Let me thank the secretariat of the AAU for the innovation. As somebody, I may be a bit sentimental about that. As somebody from West Africa, I want to say that we are very proud of the Secretariat and the Secretary General for some of these innovations, particularly for the flexibility that he has introduced into the governance of the AAU. We are very, very proud of you. We also believe, and please, you better clap properly. We are the Ghanaians here. I want to recognize your clap, especially. Because Ghana is our younger brother in West Africa. So when we are going, we want to look back and see Ghana coming behind us. So Ghana, clap again. Thank you, thank you. Having said that, I also believe that this introduction of regional offices is a very good step towards achieving the goal. I think our goal should be to have regional associations. And when this had become very difficult to attain, it is clear that with this innovation from the AAU, we can still achieve the same purpose, but we must keep that goal at mind. That is that you have AAU, Association of West African Universities for West Africa. We should have such an organization, such an association in each of the regions. And therefore, Narrow Saro should work towards establishment of such association. But even AAU, I believe there is the need for AAU and AAU Secretariat to work closer so that we can achieve the same purpose using different means. Once again, I thank the AAU for this wonderful innovation. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Prof, for your words of encouragement. Do we have any other?
Thank you very much. Wow, pick my phone. Ghanaians want to pick it? No, they are brothers. Yes, I'm Abdullahi Ribadu, National Universities Commission, Nigeria. My comment is to the European Regional Office, working with University of Nottingham. One of the things they want to do is this academic leadership, capacity building leadership. And it's ongoing. I want to encourage them and also say that when it is completed, I think we need to collaborate, because as a former Vice Chancellor, I am a beneficiary of the academic leadership training by the Home Office in the United States. And in Nigeria, we have about 300 universities today, and there is a rapid turnover of Vice Chancellors, because most Vice Chancellors stay only for 5 years maximum. In most federal universities, of course, in some state and private universities, there could be a chance for a second term, like in Abuad. So I think it's important for us to collaborate, and I feel that leadership training is really, really very important. So please, whenever it is concluded, get in touch with us so that we can collaborate in that direction. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. That said, thank you so very much for your active participation. I can see that it was really a session with lots of knowledge sharing and engagement. Thank you very much.